Hello, everyone. I hope that you had a wonderful day. It's another great evening that we convene again to continue the learning. So I hope that we have had a small preamble of what we'll be getting to learn more about today. It's a very inspirational organization and a story that I think we'll all be very happy to hear about what RBA Initiative have done and what their journey has been. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. So I can see our guest is also here. Thanks so much from Mosha for joining us today. We really appreciate for your sacrifice and commitment to engaging with us today. So I'll just take this chance to introduce our guest speaker. That is Michael Mosha. I'm sorry, my net is a bit shaky, but that's me. In the background. So Michael Mosha is a project coordinator at the Rollback Antimicrobial Resistance Initiative, that is RBA Initiative, a Tanzanian non-governmental organization that aims to curb AMR. He has a training background as a pharmacist and a public health specialist. And beginning as an AMR ambassador, Michael has several years of experience working in the AMR profession, including attending global consultation meetings organized by the Quadripartite One Health Community Coordination Workshop by the Global Implementation Solutions, member of the technical working group in formulating monitoring and evaluation framework for Tanzania AMR National Action Plan, community engagement, and many other local and international workshops, webinars, and training. So thanks so much, Michael, for joining us today. We appreciate, and we'd like to welcome you to the session. Thanks so much, and over to you. You can try and see if you can share your screen.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Daniel, for the nice introduction. I'm also delighted to be here, and I can see we have a lot of participants that are ready to learn. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Is my screen shared?
Yes, it's now visible.
Thank you. So, as you early introduced us, Rollback Antimicrobial Resistance Initiative, that's RBA Initiative, is a registered non-government organization in Tanzania that's located in Dodoma, the headquarters of, that's the capital seat of the country. Our mission is to fight back antimicrobial resistance through promoting rational use of antimicrobials, conducting several researches on the field of antimicrobial resistance, and promoting positive behavioral changes. As we know, one of the components in AMR is about behavioral change, such as hand washing, hygiene, and so on. So reducing the incidence of infection and facilitating the dissemination of knowledge of antimicrobial resistance, and that is through research activities and raising awareness. And our vision is to be a leader in fighting antimicrobial resistance in Africa and contribute to the global solutions to this public health threat. We appreciate efforts of other CSOs, including SAS. We know we are in the same loop in the fight against AMR. So we are really happy to be here today and represent this. So who do we work with? In actual sense, we do work with schools. That's the primary schools, secondary schools. We also work with health professionals. That's the pharmacists, doctors, nurses, anesthetics. We also work with them. We have the colleges and the universities, that's starting from the certificate level, diploma level, and even the higher degree levels. We also work with the community, that's the general population. We also have the local leaders. We have the journalists and the policymakers or the government. So these all groups we work with in terms of raising awareness in relation to AMR, when conducting research, when having the educational issues, and so on. So that's it. Now, one of the strategic objectives of the AMR National Action Plan in Tanzania, we have the several objectives, that's 5 in total, and one of it is raising awareness. So raising awareness, meaning that when you raise awareness, it's easy when you also want to do the research. So you can just go to a community and say that I need to research on antimicrobial resistance before they know what it is about. So you have to raise awareness and educating them on the possible consequences of AMR and what are the contributing factors to the AMR. So that's the strategic area where we rely more, but also, as I said earlier, we also conduct researches in those objectives as aligned in our Tanzania National Action Plan. So changing people's behavior is not easy. It's not easy at all, we can all agree. And the older person is, the more they are set in their ways. I wake up early in the morning, I believe that I have to brush my teeth first before taking tea, or I have to take tea, then brush my teeth. So it's likewise here. People have this habit of taking medications whenever they are sick. It's normal. They believe that if I take several medications, not only one, maybe possibly I could take only one type of antibiotic, it's not enough. So I have to take more than one type of antibiotic. So there are such behaviors. Also in terms of health-seeking behaviors, there are people who believe that they have to go to pharmacies first rather than having a checkup. So when the medications fail is when they have to visit the hospital. So that's what we say, the older person is, the more they're set in their ways. So why the school children? Our main focus in RBA Initiative, we have been working more with school children. As I said earlier, that we also work with several groups, including health policymakers, healthcare providers, and so on. But our main focus in the previous projects has been with school children. The school children are in the formative years, which is the right time to impart knowledge and best practices that will guide their behavior in life. Children in the stage of growing, they learn, they have this intuitive knowledge, they want to know more. So for us, we took an opportunity for the school children and engaging them in AMR knowledge, and it has been really, really successful, as the videos that you have seen, the AMR project documentary on the school clubs, the parents narrating what their children have learned from schools. Also the school teachers who are our club guardians have been narrating what has been successful through this AMR knowledge to them. Importantly, students have links with families, as I said earlier, communities, our future healthcare providers, leaders, and policymakers. So when we train students, we have a better generation tomorrow of those who are in the right way when they can say something on the rational use of medicines, not only antibiotics, all kinds of antimicrobials and drugs. So we focus with school children in that sense, but also believing these are the potential of future healthcare providers of tomorrow, policy makers and leaders who will be tomorrow then the parliament telling what initiative should be taking the guidelines and making all the strategic plans toward the rational use of medicines. So RBA Initiative has been pioneering the use of youth as agents of change to increase AMR awareness, promote positive behavioral change, and thus reduce treatment failure as an impact of AMR. So we are aware of the data that with the Lancet journal, in the Lancet study published that more than 1.3 million people died due to AMR, as you can see in my screen, and it killed more than HIV, breast cancer, and malaria. So it's no longer a silent pandemic, and we really need to act now. And as I said, we do not neglect any group, but the school children or the youth are very important to be engaged as early as possible, because this group will suffer more. So what the project has been, the main objective of the project with the school children is that the main objective was to equip young people, that's the school children, with the knowledge, skills to understand the rational use of antimicrobials and the possible outcome, that's antimicrobial resistance. And thereafter, making these youth to become agents of change. So they have been passing knowledge to their families, other students, and community at large. So that was the main objective. Now, we can say that AMR is a real complex language, or real complex situation that you cannot easily make a person understand, even for a grown-up person. and particularly if he's not a healthcare provider. And also even to the healthcare experts, also it's becoming difficult to understand what AMR is. But what methodology did we come with as we said that we really engage with the youth, and that's the school children? We have the arts and crafts. Why arts and crafts? Because it's easy for children to remember. It makes the study learning easy and understandable and funny. Children are capable of making their own skits, drama, traditional dances, having these testimonials, storytelling, whereby they create songs that have these themes in relation to AMR. So in actual sense, as they create these dramas, traditional dances, storytelling, they tell about AMR, either on the side effects, I mean the consequences of AMR, their causes, and so on. So it has made this participatory approach more engaging and very effective, whereby we also have this formal training to the students, but we have found that when we have these arts and crafts, the methodology part of it, it makes students to remember more what we tell them, and also it makes easy for them to pass the knowledge on. As you have seen in the documentary area, for those who arrived here earlier, you have seen it. So for thereafter, when we had this arts and craft competition, to engage the students more, we created the competition. And that's we termed AMR Arts and Craft Competition, whereby the students from different schools where we had these clubs, they had a competition. Every school was responsible either to create their drama, songs, and so on. And then we had a panel of experts where they checked on the context of the AMR topic, and they concluded who could be the winner of the competition. And at the end of the day, we had a winner, and we offered a wash station at their respective school. So as you see the pictures here showing the students singing, the other on the right hand side having these dramas narrating about AMR, explaining the side effects of AMR and so on. We also have the traditional dances, but on the figure number 4, we have the formal training sessions whereby our facilitators from RBA Initiative team visit schools and train. There are formal trainings at the classroom where we train them what AMR is, and then thereafter they develop their own messages through arts and crafts. So, but we also have the parents and students joint workshops, whereby we bring the parents and the students together, the respective parents, in the sense that they should know what their children do at schools. So they participate in these workshops. They also have this opportunity to understand about AMR. So we take this opportunity also to train parents, whereby also parents, when they go back home, they'll tell about their neighbors, they'll tell their relatives what the project is all about. But the main focus has been the school children, and the school children also demonstrate to their parents what they have been practicing or they have been taught at school through these AMR clubs. On the right hand side, once the students have accomplished the course, they are awarded the certificates, as you can see, of accomplishing this course. So we have the documentary that was the, the direct link to where you could see the documentary that you had seen earlier. I'll share it at the end. So in terms of results, the RBA initiative built a capacity of more than 322 students from 2020 to 2022. But remember, the impact is not only the students here, it's beyond the students. As I said earlier, we have the links, the students have links with parents. We have the joint parent-students workshops, but we also have these teachers at schools. We also train them about AMR. So it's beyond the school children. So we have a loop of people that we train. But also journalists, we include them in our workshops. The journalists have an opportunity to attend in these workshops and get to know what we have in terms of AMR. So as I said earlier, we built these workstations. As you can see in the image there, students enjoying after they had won the AMR Arts and Crafts competition. This slide also tells us about that AMR was foreseen by Alexander Fleming. The time may come when penicillin can be bought by anyone in the shops, and this is actually what is happening. So it was foreseen. That was in terms of school children, but RBA, as I said, that we involve with general public. We can see we have been engaging with the community members. When the community have their meetings, their local meetings, we have an opportunity whereby we ask for a permit when we have a discussion with them about their practicing on rational use of medicines. We train them, we raise awareness by narrating what are the possible impacts of just misusing these antimicrobials and other drugs. So we have these meetings and we take an opportunity of that, working with the general public, but also the farmers under One Health approach. We have the farmers, we have the farmers and other. Farmers, livestock keepers. We bring them together, as we know that AMR has no borders. It could come from animals, from human, and so on, and including the plants. So under One Health approach, we also involve such people. Through RBA, RBA has also conducted several AMR campaigns in terms of raising awareness, whereby we have this AMR Bajaji campaign. Last year, we did this, whereby COVID really hit hard here in Tanzania, and so on, I believe in other countries too. So instead of bringing too many people together, so we decided to come up with the Bajaji campaign, or the tuk-tuk, the three-wheeled motorcycles, as seen in our images. So we created simple AMR messages in Kiswahili and posted on the behind of these three-wheeled vehicles, and whereby people could read the messages. But there's also a song about AMR that was created. So, it was composed by an RBA team member, and the drivers could play when they had the passengers in their public transport. So through that, we have been receiving calls from the public wanting to know more about AMR, and really it has been a success, whereby also in the current work campaign, we did exactly the same thing, but taking different routes that we did not take last year. So through such campaigns, also in terms of raising AMR awareness. This is a picture showing that we are training the drivers, the public transport drivers here in Tanzania, particularly in Dodoma. Bajajis, as you have seen here, are the more common means of public transport, including other means of transport, but these are more common here. So it was an opportunity to use this transport means of engaging more people. So these are the drivers. We train the drivers, we train the journalists and other healthcare providers, telling them about AMR, asking questions. It has been a very interactive dialogue. They have a lot of more to ask from us as specialists, but also telling them. It has not been a one-way learning, whereby we just call them and then we tell them what is best and what is right and what is wrong. But also they have questions. They have got their own ideas. So it has been very, very productive in that sense. And so in doing so, we have been raising awareness, and really it has been success. So we also distributed flyers and used the Bajaji drivers or the public drivers as agents of change. As after training them, we delivered the flyers with key simple AMR messages, and they have been used as the vehicles in terms of distributing these flyers to their passengers, but also passing the strategic areas such as markets and also bus stations where these places are highly populated. So passing such areas, they have been playing the song, AMR song, distributing the flyers and so on. So saying that, what areas could be the opportunities of addressing AMR apart from what we have just seen? We also have clinical meetings in the hospitals. We could have those clinical meetings as experts. If you are in a hospital, any setting where we have these clinical meetings, we could address about AMR, but also professional association meetings, whereby we have these students association meetings. For instance, in Tanzania, we have Tanzania Pharmaceutical Students Association. So we take an opportunity of addressing AMR. We have community meetings, as I showed you earlier. We have global and national health days, such as World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. But now, as we know that AMR is not only about antibiotics, and we could use other days such as HIV/AIDS Day, that is celebrated worldwide, World Malaria Day. These days, we could keep the theme and appreciate what it is about, but addressing the rational use of medicines, such as in World Malaria Day. As we know that also the malaria parasites now have developed more resistance in terms of their respective medications. So we could address the rational use of medicines such as malaria or drugs in the World Malaria Day. On HIV/AIDS Day, we could also address the rational use of antiviral drugs. So keeping the theme, but taking a component of AMR into it. But we have local radios, religious meetings, and also the school outreaches. For instance, the schools that we had, the clubs that you saw earlier, the students have been capacitated, but also we support them. For instance, the secondary school students also visit the primary school students. So the secondary students, after being trained, they go to the primary secondaries. They go to the primary schools and train the students there at the primary level about AMR. So school outreaches has been also effective and opportunity for addressing AMR. You could say any other opportunity that you have at your local area. In conclusion, is that if young people are engaged and empowered, they can increase community knowledge. As we say that, and we all agree, children, youth are more of their formative age. So training them early as possible, we could really overcome or reduce the impact of AMR. As we saw the data that AMR kills more than malaria, kills more than HIV/AIDS just in 2019, a study published in the Lancet. But approach that address health from an integrated perspective is very crucial. That's one health approach, whereby we bring together people from environment health, human health, animal health. Not having just people from human health, I'm just a healthcare provider, I just play my role. No, we have to come together and appreciate the component of One Health in addressing AMR. So the public implication, this enabled changes in some practices in handling storage of antimicrobial to the school children, parents, and the general community. We did a study here at RBA Initiative, and the study was published in the Journal of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy, that's JAC. As you can see, the links below. So the studies captured about the knowledge, attitude, and practices regarding AMR. So there are simple questions asked, such as, could antibiotics treat flu? Do you seek antimicrobials before visiting healthcare provider, and so on? So after we did a pre and post study. So with pre-study, people had really misusing the antimicrobials, but after training them and having the post-study, the behaviors have changed, and we saw an impact in that. So in terms of storage, people are just putting medications anywhere in the dusty areas, near the sunlight, I mean the window where the sun could really hit. So such behaviors had changed, and all that data was published in the journal. So thank you so much. Asanteni kwa kunisikiliza. I return the floor to Daniel. I welcome for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that really wonderful presentation. We really appreciate and thank you for the great work that you're doing in Tanzania, and your great inspiration as an organization, and we appreciate. So at this point, we would like to open the floor for questions. Guys, feel free to ask questions, and I think we'll start with the ones who raise their hands. Then I think we'll then transit to anyone maybe who is in, who might also share in the chat. So I'll start with Obino Matai. You can go ahead and ask your question.
So my name is Obino Tai. I'm a clinical officer working with the county government of Vihiga, specifically in Kenya. So my first is to appreciate RBA Initiative in the just concluded second National Antimicrobial Resistance Symposium. I think they presented over 3 papers, which looked very unique and which can be implemented in LMIC. And I think I've had a chat with Mike for the good work. So my question is, we have seen that you are really at the community level, but me as a healthcare worker, I'm also worried. Have you done sensitization at the maybe the hospitals? Because apart from, you know, I at the hospitals, there is of course, I think you are a pharmacist and you know about aware classification of antibiotics, and we find most of the time, in fact, the healthcare workers, they may be giving these antibiotics, which are so strong in case, but instead of maybe starting with the first line as you go up. So have you done anything about it? That then lastly, is there an opportunity for partnership with RBA Initiative? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Obino. Maybe Michael, you can go for it and just respond.
Sorry, can Obino please come with the second question and not capture it? Sorry.
The second was just opportunity for partnership for people like us who are in Kenya. We seem to be very far away from in matters of AMR partnership with the organization.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Obino. We also had a catch up, as you said earlier, and I like your enthusiasm. Actually, in responding with the first question, is that sensitization at the hospital has really been done. As you said, that the healthcare providers opt to use maybe the second line instead of the first line, and so many other behaviors such as polypharmacy, maybe irrational use, irrational prescribing of these antimicrobials. Yes, we have been doing that. We have been educating and raising awareness to the healthcare providers. For instance, here in Dodoma, we have the referral hospital known as Dodoma Regional Referral Hospital. We have been educating them, but we have our project facilitators in other regions, whereby regularly each month they have these workshops with the healthcare providers, telling them about AMR, keeping a component of AMR alive as much as possible in their clinical meetings, in their report writing. So it is really, really possible in your facilities too. And as a CO, as you said, as a clinical officer in your area, you could take an opportunity maybe early in the morning when doctors have these reports, giving back reports of their patients. So we could use that opportunity to address about AMR. And exactly that is what has been done with RBA2 in the hospital settings, apart from the regular or monthly report, AMR workshops that have been conducted in Tanzania. So with question 2, in terms of partnership, yes, we could really work on that, but you know, always it's about financial constraints. But it's also possible that we could have the Zoom meeting as what is happening right now, calling upon the healthcare providers at your facility and maybe having a facilitator guiding through the AMR course and so on, maybe at the end of the day, offering certificates or acknowledging them. And then at the end of the day, we see what impact has brought about in your facility. So it's very possible. So if we have financial constraints, then we could have the cheaper modes such as Zoom meetings and discussions. Yes, Obin. I hope I've responded that question right.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Serious. Thanks so much, Michael, for that response. Thank you, Bino, for your question. We'll move to Anida. You can go for it.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. By the names of Twizel Anita, a medical student at the University of Rwanda doing general medicine and surgery. So thank you so much, our speaker. Your presentation was inspiring and convincing. And I got a question. Basically, me as a medical student, we normally involve in a different outreaches, targeting to teach community members about different life burdening conditions. So my question was this: how do you make people be more involved in your activities, especially those one which target mainly a big number of people? Because most of the time when we just go to the community members, you find that they are not interested in our activities because they are not having a kind of profit which is direct to them. So I want to know, how do you convince them so that they can just come to you as a big number of people to be taught about AMR antimicrobial resistance? Because your initiative seems to be a kind of like a kind of initiative which goes to the root, like to the community levels. So I want to know how you convince them so that they can come as a big number, yet for them, for their understanding, the benefit from that initiative is not direct to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita, and congrats for engaging yourselves in such activities. First of all, I would say about community ownership. As a main topic is about grassroots involving of community here. So I think one is about community ownership. You should make people own the intervention, make people own the activities responsible. You should make them feel that they are part of it, and actually maybe more beyond that, but taking some power and giving it back. I say that maybe 50-50, in the sense that you make them believe this is the ideas. These are the ideas. These are what they're capable of doing. So first of all is community ownership. Create that community ownership. Before going to engage people, you could do a pre-survey, a pilot study. What are people capable of doing? What are people thinking about your intervention that you want to do or your activity? Thereafter, going back with your team, create something that from what you have learned from your pilot, and say something that will come with your ideas, but incorporating what they really say is capable of them. So through that, you'll create community ownership. And that is actually what we have been doing. And how is that possible? Create messages or create activities or the interventions in relation to the local context. Different communities have their own behaviors, have their own cultural practices. So appreciate that. Understanding what language could be feasible while implementing activities is very successful. But also the messages you are creating should align with what they believe, cultural practices. You cannot just go to a community with ideas maybe we could learn from school, that maybe possibly, taking an example, just an example, family planning. There are communities believing that having more children is prestigious, and taking away that is taking away their power. So you should align with what they believe, that's creating community ownership, but also take into account the local context, their cultural practices, languages, and so on. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that. And maybe just what also when penetrating communities, Anita, you can also try and reach out through the leaders for the community. We'll then move to Zachariah. You can go ahead and ask your question. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, the presenter from RBA Initiative. I really enjoyed all you've shared, and I feel this is something that I would like to do in the next future with my team. So I really want to ask just a quick one. I want you to take us to the days you started, like the days you are just starting up with this initiative of yours. What are the things that worked out for you, and what are those things that didn't work out for you at the initial level when you were starting this project? Yeah, thank you very much. When you are starting the ideation phase of this project, like from the roots of the project, what were the things that worked out for you, and what are those things that didn't work out for you? I'm sure you might have faced some challenges, and those challenges, overcoming those challenges, are the things that made you reach far today. So I want to take you back to those days, and tell us how you kind of did those things, something like that.
Okay, thank you. RBA Initiative was founded by a pharmacist known as Eric Venant. He is my fellow colleague. We have been studying together in bachelor degree here in Tanzania in pharmacy profession. So back in 2018, we started as AMR Ambassadors. So starting as AMR Ambassadors, Eric Venant has been championing very, very much about AMR activities. So we started visiting schools. He was once a leader of a Pharmaceutical Students Association, president of Tanzania Pharmaceutical Student Association. He was really, really championing about AMR. So in championing and pioneering such activities, we have been visiting schools, and we saw gaps, and we saw the eagerness, the enthusiasm from the school children to learn more from us. So us being students, we were eager to disseminate the AMR knowledge, but the students were also more eager to understand or to learn more from us. So we took that opportunity. We visited several schools here in Dodoma, the capital city of Tanzania, but also visited other several regions. So through such activities, Eric had really, really grown up through AMR, and we were also growing up, learning more from him. And eventually, Eric had won the Diana Legacy Award through AMR campaigns or interventions. So after that, he won some grants, and is when he came with the idea of starting this initiative. So that's a little bit story about RBA. The challenges are that, in African setting, believing a young person or a young profession is very difficult, very, very difficult, especially from our elders. So that's a big, big challenge to my side and to my experience. So taking into account that, you could also say something as a major challenge. So that being one, but also the more common is financial constraints. We need more money to develop more of interventions. They're going to visit more schools. So those are the main challenges that I could say. Apart from that, I'd say that everything is well in plan.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that really elaborative reply. And I think we can all pick that, they started when they were students, which was maybe some years back, and through it we can see the wonderful work that has managed to happen. So we'll move over to the next question, that is Abdul Gafar. And then maybe as you respond to Abdul Gafar, Michael can then tell us, challenges were there maybe, and the different constraints and the processes, but maybe you could also hint on what has kept you going over the years. Yeah, and maybe you can respond after that, after Abdul Gafar's response. What you have.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And presenter, that's a very well done job. Thanks for the presentation. It's really inspiring and conversation. So we appreciate you for the good work. Actually, my question has been partially answered. I was interested in knowing how you come. So I was interested in knowing how you raise funds for your project, for your community outreaches, and the whole of things. So I think you've partially answered it, but with the grant that you just mentioned. So, but how did you continue with it? Like, I know at least with the number of books done, it's only a bit, or let me say that your grant will cover. So how did you go about funding it continuously to reach this peak that you have? Thank you.
So thank you, Abdul. So I mean, I could say the question meaning that you're asking about the sustainability after the funds are ended, right?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, that was my question.
So, the challenges, Mr. Daniel and the other members, other challenges are just normal challenge that we could face while having this in terms of developing such initiatives. As students, other challenges could be the losing of members. We could start 50, let's say, and then at the end of the day, we end up 10. So losing members, that's losing experts in that field of area where you started earlier, is also a challenge. So you have to find maybe possibly new team members, and these new team members should be competent in that field. So it takes time, it takes energy, and there are people who come with their interest already. So as youth, they believe that it's about gaining money, possibly, but there are people who are doing such initiatives in terms of giving back to the community. And with us RBA, that has been our motive. So passing the knowledge, saving and serving the community has been our spirit and our motive, our drive force, rather than all other, making profits and having huge expectations. So this is also a challenge when you add new members and when you lose them through such issues. So it's also a challenge. But also other challenges, I said, we started as students. So, balancing the school timetable, the university timetable with this, with the initiative that you could maybe have a plan to visit schools, maybe creating materials for AMR. It's also a challenge. So in that area, adding up with what I said earlier. So how did we sustain after the funds had ended? It's simple. We just have this readily available resources. In what sense? If the community is ready to learn about AMR, nothing will change them. So what we do is that we could be publishing the flyers to to the community. Whenever they have these meetings, regular meetings, village meetings, community meetings, whatever kind of meetings they have. So we have an opportunity to ask from their leaders, and we engage with them. So after they have finished their meeting, or at the end of their meeting, at the beginning of their meeting, we take an opportunity to address about AMR, so that it costs nothing. Maybe developing the flyers of which is kind of simpler and it's cheaper. So, and they already made materials that we created years back, and maybe just simplifying or fine tuning them. So it's cheaper in that way, but also engaging with healthcare providers in sustaining our projects is having such Zoom meetings as what we are doing right now. So we really sustain our activities and our initiative that way. But also with the school clubs, we created ownership, whereby after creating these school clubs, we had the school club guardians. Those are the teachers. So we really engaged the teachers. We also trained them before formulating these clubs. After understanding the whole concept, they were the ones who were responsible for recruiting the students with the criteria that were set with the organization, by the organization. So engaging the school teachers and also the head of the schools, it has been very, very important in creating ownership. So each year, students that are enrolled in the school, they are told about the club. There is this club called RBA Initiative AMR School Club. Students tend to enroll, and we have our capacity to enroll, let's say 100 students or 150 per club and per school. So that's it. We really engage the teachers. But also when we have maybe one-time grants, such as during World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, we don't forget these teachers. We involve them, we engage them. And maybe in so doing that, we also find the students who have been very, very active during the club's activities. So we have them, we do the workshops during WA, we also involve them, they participate, they learn, they give the testimonies from their schools and so on. So doing that, it has been keeping us in contact and sustaining our activities. Yes.
Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing, and thank you so much for keeping on and engaging in the wonderful work. We appreciate, and we know that it's not easy, it's very tough to do all this, but we appreciate you for your inspiration, kind spirit of championing for AMR all through. We'll then go to Telesfor. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you for a good presentation. It was really insightful for me. I've learned enough. So I'm Telesfor, I'm a pharmacy student in the University of Rwanda. The question I was having is about the future of that organization. Of course, we have seen different activities that you have carried out and what you are still carrying out, and I know it's not easy to create a kind of initiative when you're still a student. You have not a different constraints, especially financial constraints, I know how it is difficult. So how about the future of that organization, and what do you believe or what do you think that you will add in the future? And of course, what you like your future expectations of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Hakizimana. Thank you very much. The future of the organization lies with our vision and mission, and that's to conduct research, to be the leaders of antimicrobial solutions, to contribute to the global solutions. And through that, our main focus has been the school children. School children doesn't mean that we don't also work with other groups, as I said earlier, but we see the future of the organization in the right direction. For instance, we also work with several stakeholders, as what we're doing right now. You are the stakeholders, SAS, our fellow stakeholders. They learn from us, we learn from them. So that's the future. We also work with the government in developing several community, communication tools, but also we work with the international stakeholders in developing materials that relate with AMR. So by doing that, we keep ourselves in track. So in doing that, we align with what we see or what we stated in our vision earlier to be the leaders, and aligning with our mission in conducting researches, working with other stakeholders as what we are doing right now here, and so on. So that's the future of the organization. Possibly, maybe we could say the question could say funds a problem, is a problem. Maybe financial constraints is a problem. And maybe through financial constraints, it's easy to fall down. Yes, but using the readily available resources, as I said earlier, creating Zoom meetings with the other stakeholders, creating with the healthcare providers, the community that are capable of using the Zoom applications and so on. It's easy. You keep yourself in track, but also having you people in here, you could be our agents or our pioneers and champions at the end of the day, addressing the good work we are doing together. We could see the future of the organization. Each organization, not only RBA, but also starts mentioning the others. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael, for that really inspirational, session today. And I really hold RBA with a lot of esteem, because I've really seen you guys grow, and I've seen the kind of work impact that you've been able to bring to the society, which is really great. And just to reiterate what Michael has said, nothing good starts easy, guys. And I think what we usually say is start with what you have, the trend as much as possible, and tailor the little that you have. It might not even be finances, it's that knowledge that you have acquired. How then do you, try using creative ways to, raise awareness and take it to the people, and also the power of collaboration. I think collaborations also help a lot. In terms of pulling together resources, in terms of technical input, financial input, and the rest. So collaborations really help a lot. And I thank everyone who has joined the session today. We really do appreciate that you joined in, and we appreciate our guest speaker today, Michael Mosha. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing about the great work that you're doing at RBA. We hope we hope that we'll keep on engaging and keep up the good work. And I hope that all of us who have attended today, as we have been guided, let's be good ambassadors of AMR, and let's drive this agenda forward. And nothing starts easy. Even if you look at the history of things like malaria, malaria, HIV/AIDS, and the rest of these global health challenges, they all started small. And there's a famous quote that says that, never doubt the power of a small group of people, because that is only what has changed the world. So thank you so much, everyone, for today's session. We really do appreciate. Thanks so much, Michael. And I'll hand it over to you for final remarks. Then I think we can call it a day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for taking the opportunity to attend this. I know we had a very busy schedule. Also, did I and appreciate so much Daniel Werungi for inviting me, and I really appreciate. I'm looking forward to more of this. Thank you. And maybe I would suggest a group photo. Sorry, my video is very poor here. Hello. Daniel.
Sorry. I think I was on mute. I was just speaking. Yeah, we can maybe do a group photo for those who are able to maybe share their videos. Let me see whether I'm able to share mine. Yeah, so maybe we can just do a small group photo, everyone. Yeah.
Before our smiles fade.
Yes. Let me try. I'm Just trying.
Mine's are fading, Daniel.
Yeah. Just a minute.
We will get master pools, man.
Yeah, maybe Mike, you can also try and take one from your end. I think my screen is having some challenges because of the connection.
All right, I did. I'll share
Okay.
it in my social handles. So maybe I could share here, type, maybe make a follow-up and so on.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.